Hi everyone, I'm Molly, a recent geography graduate, and this presentation is designed to give you an outline of the geography course here at Oxford, from the big questions such as why choose geography, to the course structure itself. I hope you enjoy. So, why geography? I hope, seeing as you're looking through these resources currently, that you at least have an idea in your head as to why you think geography is a good subject to study and why it's such a valuable discipline. However, I want to give you an insight as to why I find it so incredible and interesting to learn about, and also why I find it so pertinent in today's world. So, geography is an incredibly dynamic subject. It's one that is constantly shaped by the context in which it finds itself in. It is broad in that it often requires an interdisciplinary line of thinking, which basically means you get to tap into different branches of knowledge. But simultaneously, it allows you to specialise in the things that you take the most interest in. For me, this was political and post-colonial geography. In addition to this, from climate change to social inequality to biodiversity loss, geographers are often at the forefront of challenging many global crises we face. Geography is a discipline that therefore not only helps you better understand the world around you, but it helps inform how best to shape the world of tomorrow. From a more pragmatic stance, the skills and expertise that you develop as a geographer are held in high regard by employers, which means that the degree opens up a wide variety of career choices post-graduation. From analytical and communication skills to data evaluation, geography covers this all. So perhaps you're asking more specifically, why pursue geography at Oxford? The School of Geography and the Environment have been ranked #1 in the 2020 QS World University Rankings for Geography. It's also worth mentioning that this isn't the first time we've been ranked at #1 on various ranking tables. As soon as you come here, you recognise why it has such an esteemed status. The method of teaching in Oxford is first rate, and when I say this, I'm primarily referring to the tutorial system, because it's such an essential part of the learning process here. In essence, tutorials are very small classes with a tutor and 2 or 3 others in your student cohort. You're given a piece of work to complete prior to the tutorial, and then in the class itself, you can discuss your work, ask for clarification where needed, and listen to what others have to say about the topic at hand. They provide such an incredible way of learning that encourages you to really digest and think about what you have learnt in lectures. I personally loved all of my tutorials. I also think that supplemented by this tutorial system and the college system, you develop a more personal bond with your tutors and your student peers, which I found beneficial both academically and socially. Though it isn't just about the tutorial system, the School of Geography and the Environment has a really strong body of world-leading academics, meaning you're being actively taught and engaging with individuals who are quite literally leading contemporary debates that shape the field to which they specialise in. The quality and quantity of research that comes out of the department is really quite astounding. Onto the course structure. The first year is all compulsory and you have preliminary exams, so prelims. This consists of 4 written exams at the end of your first year, as well as a fieldwork report and a relatively short essay. Your first year exams don't actually count towards your final grades that you receive upon graduation, though tutors still want to see good results to ensure that you can demonstrate a good working attitude in years 2 and 3. In years 2 and 3 are when you can begin to structure the course to what you're most interested in. Your final grade is based upon your performance in 6 written exams, a fieldwork report based on a trip that you will go on in second year, 3 submitted essays which pertain to the optional subjects that you choose, and a dissertation, which is where you can really hone in on your geographical interests. Regarding the teaching and learning components of the course, on average, your contact hours actually tend to go down as you go through the years. So, where you may have 7 or 8 hours of lectures a week in first year, this will likely go down to about 4 or 5 hours a week by third year. This does not mean that you will have less work to do, it just means that you have to be a bit more self-disciplined in your learning as you're required to research things more independently. So you will still have that generic kind of 1 essay and tutorial per week, but alongside that you may have dissertation work, essay submissions, etc. There is also Fieldwork, which I will provide a bit more information on shortly. As I said previously, first year subjects are all compulsory and touch upon both human and physical geography. This provides a really brilliant foundation for learning, and neither branch requires any prior knowledge. So actually going into Oxford, I was very much interested in human geography. However, after my first year, I realised I love physical geography also, and continued to pursue both physical and human geography options in my second and third year. So yeah, first year provides an excellent insight into both human and physical geography, which is important because, as you often find, knowledge from both themes are essential. The climate crisis, for example, is as much about social change as it is an environmental issue. You also get to go to Swanage to do some physical geography fieldwork, which provides a really brilliant opportunity to make some friends outside of your college, and also you have some fieldwork in and around Oxford City Centre to complete later on in the course. Going into years 2 and 3, once again, as I did say previously, is where you can begin to tailor the course to your own interests. There is one core subject called Geographical Thought, which I absolutely loved as it provided a really good foundation into understanding the challenges that the discipline faces, both historically and contemporarily. And then you also have a fieldwork project based in either Tenerife or Berlin, where you will have to submit a fieldwork report. You will then get to choose 2 foundation courses out of the available 3. So you can choose Earth System Dynamics, which is very much a physical geography option, Space, Place and Society, which is the human geography option, or Environmental Geography, which very much incorporates both human and physical geography by looking at society's interactions with their surrounding environment. I personally chose Earth System Dynamics and Space, Place and Society, which I found made my learning very exciting, because one week I would be reading Marxist theory, and then the next I could be looking at kind of conservation science. It really made my studies quite dynamic. You will sit an exam in Geographical Thought, and then you'll also sit one in each of the foundational subjects that you choose. You then have your options, one of which you will do in second year and the other 2 in third year. You'll sit an exam in each of these options and also submit a 4,500 word essay. Finally, you have your dissertation, which is where you really come into your own. I'll explain a bit more about that in a bit. So, as you can see, there is a real variety to the options offered here at Oxford Geography. And what's great is that even if, say, that your area of specialisation is very much rooted in physical geography, for example, you can still pick options that are perhaps more human geography focused. The options I chose were very much mixed, in that I picked conservation, desert landscapes and dynamics, and then also an option on development and post-colonialism. But I know other people that chose to specialise in particular areas and therefore chose options grounded in a similar branch of knowledge. So the beauty is that you kind of make your degree as broad or as specific as you like. As a geographer, it would be a near crime if we didn't conduct some work out in the field, so I'm here to put those worries at ease. In your second year, you have the opportunity to go to either Berlin or Tenerife. Speaking in general terms, human geographers will go to Berlin, and environmental and physical geographers will go to Tenerife, though that is very much a generalisation. You spend a week working with an assigned group on a theme. For example, I chose Cold War Berlin, and you sort of decide what aspect of the theme you're going to investigate and how you're going to do so with your group. Not only is it really interesting to gather your own data, but it's also really good fun, and icing on the cake, it's funded by the department. So last, but by no means least, you have dissertations. These are up to 12,000 words in length and are effectively research projects that form an important part of your degree. You'll do the bulk of the research in the summer of your second year, but in the first term of third year, you continue to tidy it up and have meetings with your dissertation supervisor about your work. As you can see from the impressive selection we have here, your dissertation, provided that there's a clear strategy and it's safe to undertake, can be about whatever you please, so whatever interests you. That's why, for many people, completing their dissertation is actually one of their favourite parts of the university experience. And though I personally didn't travel for research purposes, as my dissertation used archival data, I know that many people did so. So the dissertation is a really valuable part of the course. That's my outline of geography here at Oxford complete. I hope you find the rest of the resources that will be released today very useful, and that they give you a real idea of what it's like to study here at Oxford. Thank you. Bye.